welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. And this is really an hour with Bob because today, not only do you have Bob Venturini, but you have Dr. Robert Leonard, Bob Leonard here, and later on we're going to have the mayor of East Providence, Bob DaSilva. So Robert DaSilva, Bob DaSilva. So Dr. Robert Leonard, how you doing, Bob?
I'm doing
Bob?
great. It's been
Can
great.
I call you Bob?
Of course, you can call me anything you want, as long as it's nice.
Nice, yeah, exactly.
No, it's good. Everything's good.
Yeah?
Life is good. I gave blood today.
You gave blood today?
A public service announcement. Make sure you give blood. They're in desperate need of blood.
How long does it take to give blood?
I did a packed red blood cell, so it took twice as long. So
What does that mean? What's a packed red blood
So
cell?
you can give whole blood, what most people do. It has
Right.
the red blood cells, white blood cells, plasma,
Right.
platelets, everything. And that takes about 15 minutes, literally, because 2 people came and went while I was there. The packed red blood cells are people who really need to have oxygen-carrying red blood cells injected if they're having some sort of problem. And that took about 40 minutes by the time you
Wow.
talk a little bit.
Now,
and
why do
everything.
you do that instead of just a regular one? Because people need it?
People need it.
Yeah?
Yeah, people need that. And I go every 16 weeks instead of every 8 weeks.
Come on,
Yeah,
wow.
8 weeks is the typical thing for whole blood.
Right.
But 16 weeks. And it works out great. And it's funny. It's not funny. My mother needed exactly that. She had knee replacement surgery recently. And prior to that, she was a little low on her red blood cell. So it does hit close to home sometimes, and she's fine, everything's good, but that's why I do that.
Now, she needed blood?
Before, she was a little anemic before the surgery.
Okay, yeah.
And they wanted to
'Cause
bump her
I
up.
just had knee replacement surgery, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I didn't need blood.
No, it was before. She was a little anemic before.
must have been,
She's
yeah.
a little older than you, too.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Don't tell her I
I'm
said that.
glad somebody is. So you look a little darker today. Now, what since the last
I
time
don't think
I
the
saw
lighting's very
is
good
it the
in here. I
lighting?
don't know, is that what it is?
Where you
I just came back from Brazil.
Brazil.
I was visiting
Now,
Brazil.
you've been there before.
Yeah, actually I've been about 6 times.
Really?
Because every 2 years they have a Brazilian Association of Hair Transplant Surgery.
Right.
And I've been really lucky enough to be invited to those meetings. So I got to go to very many different cities, and every city in Brazil, like everywhere, they're different. They're quite different from one another.
Now, did you go to Fortaleza?
Yes, Fortaleza. I was just there this time.
Did you? Yeah.
Because I have a very good friend.
That's up in the north, folks, if you don't
Yeah,
know.
it's about 1,200 kilometers from the equator. So that's my thing. I want to be someplace at a warm, sunny beach.
You like the sun, as you can tell,
I do.
and I'm the opposite.
And my daughter's a dermatologist.
Yeah,
and
she
said,
must be
"Dad,
really
stay
mad at
out
you."
of the sun." So I have been using sunblock now for the last couple of years, and
Really?
it really does.
When do you use the sunblock? After?
No. Well, it doesn't block all the sun apparently, but
Come on.
yeah. So that's
What do you use it over the oil and?
No, I don't use baby oil and mercurochrome anymore. No, I stopped doing that a long time ago. But it's a beautiful country. A lot of people, think Brazil's a dangerous country because certain parts.
I do.
You do. Well,
I do.
certain parts. Listen, you can go to Providence or Boston
Right.
or L.A. wherever you want. You can get into big trouble very fast.
Right.
So you have to be smart about traveling. I travel a lot.
Yep.
And there's a saying in Greek, "Ta matia su dekatessa," that means may your eyes be 14 eyes. Do you know your surroundings? Be aware of your surroundings.
Well,
And
the other
stay-
problem is that they don't speak English. I mean, some people do, but I mean, most people speak Portuguese. down
Right,
there.
yes.
So you're at a disadvantage if you don't speak Portuguese.
Right, you have to ask where you are, but there are parts of the city that you shouldn't be in, and you
Yeah,
shouldn't be in them.
I found them all too.
That's funny.
Yeah,
No, but it's Rio de Janeiro, especially. You've been to Rio.
I have.
It is one of the most beautiful cities
It
in
is,
the world.
It is.
You've got-
Unfortunately, go ahead.
Yeah,
continue.
you've got mountains coming right
Yep.
down to the sea. There are bays. There are natural beauty.
What
in
is
the
that?
city.
Turtle Island? Is that what they call that? Turtle
I don't
Island.
know Turtle Island.
Near they have the largest stadium in the world, I think.
Oh yeah, I went to that stadium actually. Yeah.
200,000 people. That stadium
huge.
holds.
It's huge.
It's humongous. And then when you get up on the where the statue is,
Yeah, the Christ Redentor.
and
yeah.
you look down, to me it looks like a turtle.
The stadium itself is.
No, another stadium. The
There's an area they
landmass
call the
there.
Peninsula, and I don't know, the Inside Bay.
Right.
But it's beautiful. I mean, it's just green, and the ocean's really nice. A little cold.
Was it cold?
It's colder than I expected it to be. Yeah.
Now you
The
went.
pool was nice and warm though.
What time of year?
About a month and a half ago.
Well, you're still.
So it's their summertime.
It's their summer, and it's cold.
But it wasn't particularly warm. The water wasn't. Further north of Fortaleza, it was nice. It was really warm.
Right, yeah.
But that was a 3-hour flight from Rio north.
Oh, I know. I did it.
You went that. So,
yeah, I did it.
But as you get close to the equator, of course, the water warms up.
Warms up.
Well, yeah.
That's why when you were in Fortaleza, it was warmer because
Right.
you're closer to the equator.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was nice. People are very friendly. I like the cuisine. Those cheese balls, pão de queso. Oh, they're everywhere, and I put on about 15 pounds during my trip because of that cheese
Really?
bread.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
How long were you down there?
About 10 days or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I caught the last day of Carnival, which I had never seen before, and it was one of my bucket list things to do.
Right.
Caught the last day, and it surprised me. The city's very active during Carnival. It's busy. But the actual event is at a stadium. Well, no, it's exciting. It's amazing, but you have to go to this one place.
And you go between
Yeah, it's a stadium without ends.
Right.
And you have these massive, bleachers and seating
on
along
each side.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
each side. Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a competition as well. It's a competition. So these different schools come in with floats and dancing and music. It's very, very uplifting. It's really cool.
And very colorful.
Very colorful. Very, very colorful. It's really neat.
And very festive. It really is something to see. Yeah.
But I mean, you had to get there with another 20,000 people or 60,000, 80,000 people. I don't know how many people there. Even maybe 1 million people were there over the course of a few days. So that was cool. But I thought it was going to be something like throughout the city more. But it's specifically
just in
there.
that area.
But you can imagine them. The floats are massive. They're massive, and the mechanical. It was really cool to see.
Now, have you ever been to Mardi Gras?
I have not. I have not.
Oh, I beat you at something? I did something you haven't done?
Well, it's on the list, but I hear it's not the greatest thing to attend. Is it really kind of...
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I liked it.
It's gritty. That's why you liked it. It's gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes on to like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Which I also like because I don't sleep, so I can handle that.
That's right, yeah.
And I videotaped. I walked, and if you got a camera, my God, they gravitate towards the camera. It's crazy how much videotape.
Oh, you're good. Your big camera, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Like you have the
not
media
just a cell phone. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The big camera is crazy. And then I get all these girls and everybody, every girl there. I don't care if they were a nun. Every girl's flashing. If you got beads in your hand, you're getting flashed.
Wow.
And they're up in.
And you're not talking flash photography, I assume.
No flash photography.
Okay, just check.
And what's amazing to me is I don't know why or how it has not happened where these second floors
collapse or something, right?
I don't know how they don't collapse because there's so many people on there, and they're not just standing there; they're jumping up and down, and they're on the railings, and I don't know how the railings don't crash off. And I stayed at a San Marie Hotel on the corner of Toulouse, and it was 1 block up from
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street,
Yeah.
and the side street, a little tiny side street. It was only a short side street. This hotel was there, and I had a corner. Last minute, I was actually funny story. I was coming back from visiting my cousin in Antioch, California, near Sacramento.
That's not in New Orleans.
Not even close. And I didn't realize that if you have one of these flights, from points, you get.
Oh yeah, points. Yeah.
You can travel. If you're going from Rhode Island to California, you're entitled to 1 more stop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
And anywhere where that airline flies, you can detour to. So I end up talking to 2 young people, young guy, young girl at the counter, and the guy says to me, "Oh, where are you going back to?" I said, "Rhode Island." He goes, "Oh, it's 6 degrees over there." I go, "I know." He goes, "Well, you can go anywhere you want now." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "This ticket allows you can take 1 more stop." I says, so I looked up I'm looking for warm climate, and I see New Orleans. I said, Mardi Gras is on right now. Let me go to Mardi Gras.
Sure.
But he even said, he said, you got to get a hotel. I said, well, let me use the phone. This is before cell phones.
Yes.
So I call a friend here in Rhode Island that's
has a connection down there?
connected, and with the travel thing, and he hooked me up with this hotel down there. And I got that hotel for 3 nights for $219 I paid for 3 nights.
Amazing.
It was like a $500 a night hotel. I got 3 nights. I paid the taxes.
You can't get anything for $219, not even a closet.
And I end up on the 2nd floor, above the lobby of the hotel, and it was right on the corner. It was a corner room. It was a big suite, and it had 6 big doors that were, instead of windows, had these beautiful doors.
Out?
And they used it in a Bon Jovi, not an Aerosmith video.
Really?
I saw it about a year later. I'm saying, oh my God, that's where I stayed.
That was my room.
That was my room. Yeah.
That's cool.
And every night I went out and down to the street, and I'm videotaping people. And the next day, I'm in one of these shops, and these 4 girls, they're 4 women in their late 20s, obviously all teachers. I could hear the conversation. And they're talking about what a great night they had and whatever. And I got my camera with me. And at one point I heard one of the girls say, oh, I can't believe all those girls. Oh, they're just flashing, all these girls. And I walked over to him. I said, excuse me, didn't I hear you just say you were talking about the girls flashing? He goes, yeah, I can't believe all these women just flashing for beads, for $1 string of beads. I said, well, you did. She goes, no, I didn't. I said, oh, yes, you did. And the other one starts laughing at it. He goes, I said, well, you did too. She goes, no, I didn't. I said, and then the other ones, you girls did. And I said, all of yous did.
Oh, no.
And they go, no way. I said, well, I just happened to have the camera. And I did. I had the video there, and I just rewound it, and I showed it to them. They were totally embarrassed.
Of them?
All 4 of them, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's amazing how they get caught up in the whole thing, and they drink them hurricanes, right? And
I don't know anything about any hurricanes.
well, that's a drink down there. That's a drink down there. They serve going in, and the clubs are all open. The doors are open. You don't even have to go inside. You can get a drink right in front of the place. It's crazy. It's a
and
real,
like tons of people, I presume.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's
like
very
packed.
congested.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily hurt somebody and get away with it because they wouldn't know who you are, and they've had incidents like that. But they seem to control it for the most part. And the cops are on horseback. The cops are all up and down the street on horseback. And they block the streets off with, they have pipes they have holes in the street.
Oh, so vehicles?
And they receive the pipes so no cars can come down the street, up and down Bourbon Street and a couple of the other streets. It's pretty wild.
There's a hill.
Yeah, I spent 3 nights there.
Well, if you get me that hotel, I'll go next year.
We'll go. Yeah, we'll go there. Well, you've been to Thailand, right?
Yep, Thailand is that's really nice. People, they call it the happy place.
Oh my God, you want to slap them? They're so
well,
happy.
I don't want to slap.
No, I know, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I mean that you never seen happier people in your life. I never have.
Yeah.
In anywhere I've ever been. I mean, those people are just so nice.
Yeah. They're really very hospitable, and the weather's great, my kind of weather, except during rainy season, I suppose. But I haven't been there then. But
well, I couldn't handle it up to February. I could handle it. After that, it gets a little too warm
too hot.
for me. Yeah.
Well, that's just like going to Florida.
God.
In the summertime's oppressive.
I could never live in Florida. People say, why don't you retire to Florida? I said, I couldn't live in Florida.
Too hot.
December, January, February, maybe.
We were there over Christmas time in Fort Lauderdale, and it was freezing. I shouldn't say freezing. It was 46 in the morning in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I've been there Christmas other years. I have never seen it to be that cold.
Right.
And the whole stretch was just crappy weather. Rain, clouds,
that's nothing
half
worse.
a day of sun, and we had, we were a whole group of people down there. I said, oh, what are we going to do with these people? But
oh, you brought them down?
yeah, we have a condo that we invited family and friends in shifts.
Yep.
But every time we just had really 2 half days of good weather.
Wow,
It was
that's
unbelievable. And if we show some pictures, at the end of it, everybody left, and we were still 5 days scheduled to be down there.
Right.
So I told my wife, let's get online, let's go to Mexico, and we went to Mexico for 3 nights.
Where?
Where was just north of Playa del Carmen, along that coast. It was nice.
Near Cancun.
It was very nice hotel. It was 85 and sunny every day, no rain. So
that's your kind of weather.
That's
down
my
there.
kind of weather for sure. It is.
Mazatlan would be nice too. Have you ever
That's
been
on
to
the other
Mazatlan?
coast,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I used to go every Thanksgiving with my cousin.
Really?
We used to go down there, both single guys.
Is that Las Hadas resort where they filmed the movie 10 with
Yes.
Dudley Moore?
Yes.
We went there after my wife and I finished our internship year.
Oh, no kidding.
In our training. And we went there, and it was just after the time that movie had come out.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool. I didn't see Bo Derek running down the beach.
No Bo
And I
Derek.
didn't see Dudley Moore either for that.
No. But the sunsets there are spectacular.
You're looking over the west. That's
Yeah,
right.
sunsets in the west,
Yeah.
right?
But the more beautiful sunsets, and I'm very biased, is in the village of Petra in the island of Lesbos
Greece?
in Greece.
I knew you were going to say
Yeah,
that.
that's where I go there every summer. I have family
Well,
there.
you are Greek, right?
Half Greek.
Half
Half
Greek.
Greek, half Irish.
Greek and Irish.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a combination.
So I'm very Irish on St. Patrick's Day. This weekend I'll be totally Irish.
Nobody's going to expect you to be Irish.
A black Irishman, isn't that what a black Irishman is? I don't know. Guys, Spain came up. But the sunsets there are absolutely spectacular. And I have an auntie who will be 100 years old on the 18th of this month. 100 years old.
Wow.
So,
Well,
you know,
isn't it that part of the world right over there? Is that
well, it's
where
not.
people...
It's not one of the blue zones. There's another
Oh, it's
island
not?
in Greece called Ikaria, and that's where an actual blue zone where there are a lot of residents who are over 90 into their hundreds. A lot.
Yeah.
But she's the only one that old in the village.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I miss seeing her. So every time I go, the next year, I mean, she's 98 years old, 99 years old. I mean,
Right.
you figure, but
You gotta keep going.
She's been hanging in there. God bless her.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how many kids does she have?
She has one son who lives in Massachusetts, actually.
How old is he?
He's probably in his early 70s, I think, something
Really?
like that. Yeah. So
That's pretty wild to have,
It is.
have a son. I want to see my son.
yeah.
He's 75.
Well, that's like Queen Elizabeth, right? She
Yeah.
died at 96.
Right.
King Charles is like, I don't know,
He's
73,
75. No, he's 75, I think.
75, yeah.
Yeah,
So you wonder what the heck's going on with that. You know, no one tells
that's ridiculous.
about what's happening with his
Why
cancer.
don't they just come out and say the girl's sick?
It's
or-
surprising. I mean, if the Queen was still alive, they wouldn't say anything at all. They're just Buckingham Palace is
But
quiet. They're tied. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you in
I think it all changed when he married that American. That's when it all changed.
oh Megan, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's when it all changed. Do you ever see that series she used to be on?
I did in Suits. I never
Yeah,
saw
I used
that.
to like that
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Was
I
she a good
watched every
actress?
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen that, but anyways, I always like to. I follow the royal family since I was a little boy.
Really?
And one year we got to go. My wife loves tennis, so we got to go to Wimbledon one year.
Oh, nice.
And we were there for 2 days. And the second day, you know, I had back pain or something. And the seats are not comfortable in Wimbledon at all. Maybe in the royal,
right.
maybe in the royal
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
yeah.
the
But
big-
the regular seats aren't so great. So I said, "Oh, my back hurts. I think I'm going to go." They're looking at me like, "Well, you're leaving Wimbledon? Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going to go see if I can see the Queen, because I've always wanted to see her." And
Right.
so I went to St. Paul's Cathedral. I was going to go visit London, really joking I would see the Queen. And it was right before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was free after 4. So I said, I'll wait outside for 15 minutes. And I talked to the guy who was at the door, and I said, "Oh, I can't, my life dream is to see the Queen, blah, blah,
Right.
blah." And he says, "Well, sit down, because the whole royal family was there that morning, because it was like the 400th anniversary of St. Paul's Cathedral. I missed them all by hours." I couldn't believe it. I
Really?
couldn't believe it, yeah. So that was a...
Oh, I thought he was telling
Story-
you to sit down because he's got to be coming out in a minute.
No, she sit down because I would be shocked that I missed them earlier in the day.
I
so.
get that, yeah.
Anyway, too late for that now. I have to choose another monarch to...
What do you think of England, per se?
I love England. I
Yeah,
think it's a nice country to visit. You know, people are friendly. The food's not the greatest, but, you know, they're very nice. I haven't visited a lot around the country. I have 2 or 3 colleagues throughout the country, and I plan on visiting them. And one guy's in Manchester, another in Birmingham.
How to go to Ireland?
I haven't gone either, except for Dublin. We were doing a trip to Spain.
Right.
And remember that Norwegian airline
Yeah.
used to fly directly they flew to Galway. Flew to Dublin. So we stayed there for 2 days, which is a cool city for 2 days.
Right.
Not much more than that. And we were there in the wintertime too, so I'm sure
Oh,
in the
God.
summer it'd be nicer.
Yeah.
And then we went off to Spain. So I've not visited the rest of the country, which I hear is just gorgeous.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. My son's been there a couple. He
Yeah.
likes it. He likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People go year after year. Could be Irish people going back visiting their homeland too, you know.
Exactly,
But-
exactly. I want to go on a cruise of the Mediterranean. That's
That
what I
would be
wanna do.
nice. A lot of people do that. They start in like Barcelona
Yep.
and go all the way to Istanbul or go down to Egypt,
Yep.
which would be cool to do. That would be a really cool thing to do. Yeah.
Take a 12 or 14-day cruise, something like that, right? Or 10,
Yeah,
at
probably
least
10 to 14, I think, if you do that full. Sometimes they'll stop at Sicily and just do part way It's a halfway point.
Or you leave out of Italy or leave out of
You
Rome,
can leave a Rome,
and hit 2 or 3
Civitavecchia.
places there, and yes,
Yep.
and then go to Nice, France, and then go to Barcelona, Spain, and then hit even
Morocco?
no, not Morocco. What's the island out there where the mayor of Providence used to be?
Madeira? Madeira Island?
No, Morocco. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. Oh, you mean Malta?
Malta, yes.
Malta.
Yes.
Mayor Paolino, yes.
Yeah,
he was
Mayor
the
Paolino.
ambassador there.
Yeah, I missed
Yeah,
out.
I've not visited Malta. Supposedly it's nice. Beaches are supposedly not so great.
No,
but
it's
a
all
rock.
rocks. The whole island is rocks. It's
I
a
know.
fortress, right?
Yeah.
It's a fort.
But there's a lot of history there too. A
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
why I
history.
like it, because it's been conquered by, 15
Everybody.
different countries.
Yeah.
have had their flag over the island.
Right.
No, that's
It's
why I like
nice.
to go there. It's like the opposite of when I went to when I was in Finland,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the opportunity. I see a couple signs there. You could take a high-speed ferry over to Tallinn, Estonia.
Oh, I've never even been.
That's
heard
an
of it.
interesting
Is
country.
it interesting to
Yeah,
visit?
really,
Yeah.
really interesting country. It's a walled city. Tallinn is a walled
Okay.
city, and the walls are 40 feet thick.
Wow.
And it's never been captured. It's never
good
been
reason.
overtaken. And the streets, you know how most streets have intersections.
Yeah.
You know, a square.
Sure.
It's a spoke.
Oh, really?
It's like 5 or 6 streets come into
Go
the
into
town
the-
center.
Okay.
The center's a circle, and it goes out to. It's either 5 or 6
Interesting.
streets go out. It's pretty cool. Pretty
That's
cool
like
city.
the Arc of Triumph in Paris. They all.
Yes,
The
yeah.
boulevards go out from that central
Yeah,
spoke.
yeah. And the
Estonia.
highest
I bet
building.
it's inexpensive too, right? I would think.
Yeah, yeah.
Must be.
The tallest building and highest building in the city is a cathedral. And it sits way up high in the city. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty place.
Add that to the list.
Yeah. And I was over there because I went to see the building of at the time, the biggest cruise ship in the world in in Turku, Finland.
Wow.
Up in the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Which is amazing that
When
they're
did you
building
go?
cruise
In the
ships.
Summertime?
No, I was there in the winter. It was the fall.
Dark all the time?
Yeah, it was dark early. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't winter. It was like November, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was late October and early November, something like that. It was cool, because this is northern Finland,
Yeah.
way up there. It's in the Arctic Circle.
That's amazing. Was
But-
it barren?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not
oh yeah.
much there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to think that they're building this huge cruise ship there, you would think they'd build it in a warm climate, right?
Yeah. Well, who knows?
And that's where they build the last one that just come out there.
Icon of the Sea.
Yeah.
One of the members of my staff actually took that cruise. She
Really?
loved it with her family. She said it was really nice.
That holds with the crew like 10,000 people.
I don't know. It's big. It's the biggest one, right?
Yeah,
Biggest ship.
12,000 feet long.
Wow.
Imagine that, a ship like that.
I know.
Have-
I was lucky enough when we were in Florida this time. Another friend, her boyfriend is a pilot boat driver. So the pilot, which I didn't know this, the pilot is based in a port, and whenever either tankers come in or
he
cruise
has to go
ships
out
come in,
and get in
he
the
or she.
He or she has
So-
to go out to the ship and get
Right.
on the ship and guide it in.
Well, we were on the small boat that picked the pilot up because once they go through the waterway,
Right.
a couple of miles out, they pick them up and bring them back into port.
Right.
But the sea sometimes is so rough that there's like sometimes 20-foot gap, and they have to leave from a little hole in the side of the ship to get on a small ladder that's bouncing up and down. It's very dangerous.
Holy
It's a
cow!
very dangerous
And climb
job.
up the ship?
They do. They have a rope ladder in
Wow.
some cases, depending what the tide is, I guess. I
Sure.
don't know. But, we were in a very nice, calm day. We saw a couple of ships go by. We're right next
I was just
to
going to
these-
say, what a cool job that would be, but not anymore. Not after I heard you say
it's a cool
that.
job if it's nice weather.
Yeah.
But oftentimes in the boat is a rugged boat. It wasn't like a tugboat, but
Right.
it's a pilot boat. And they also had, which was interesting, they had during the daytime, they had to stave off all pleasure boats that are trying to use the harbor and go through, because he said they'd be crushed if they.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
They can't stop a big ship like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people are dumb in these boats, these smaller boats.
Seems so, yeah.
Yeah, or they're half in a bag and whatever, and they're watching these big boats and they want to go through it with them.
But a dangerous job being a pilot. But I was talking to the guy coming back in, and he said they have to do years, like 15 years of training in various aspects of levels
Right.
to get to become a pilot.
And they have to know
Each port, they have an examination for
Yes.
each port they're going to be serving.
Yes, yes.
It's a big deal. They make a lot of money, though. They earn a lot of money.
Really?
But it's a dangerous job, really dangerous.
Because every time any boat comes in that harbor, those
Day
people.
or night.
Yeah.
They're in 12-hour shifts, and they're working around the clock.
Wow.
It's amazing. And the other thing I learned, which was interesting, like there are a lot of gas tankers out that are weighed out outside of the port.
Yep.
And they don't come in because they have to pay per hour or per foot or whatever when they're at the dock. And they'll often come in and they're on the phone with the price of gas, bartering with people.
Right.
So they'll come in and they'll go back out for the price to come down.
Right.
And they'll come back in so they don't have to pay the fee in the port. Very interesting.
Wow.
I mean, these industries, you don't know anything about these industries, but really interesting stuff.
Have you gone through the Panama Canal?
We have, yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that too.
I didn't do it on a ship. We had a meeting right at the canal, actually.
Oh, yep.
At that Gamboa resort. They had, a cool thing was sloths. Those sloth animals.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
go very-
yeah.
But we did a tour of the canal in a small boat, and these big ships, they make a lot of money coming out of there too. Like millions and millions of dollars every day. They charge in tolls
Oh,
for
yeah.
the ships. It's crazy.
And they don't have a lot of room on each side of the ships either.
None. They've got these tiny little locomotives that attach to the
Right.
ship, and they
And
pull
pull
the
'em.
ship through the canal. And the what do they call those things?
The locks.
The locks. The locks are going up and down by many, many, many feet. It's
Yep.
crazy to see how they do that.
All right, listen, we only got a few minutes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your.
Well,
what
you
you
know
do.
that I'm the director of the Hair Health Institute, and we do non-surgical hair restoration. And the biggest thing that's been around for a number of years is low-level laser therapy.
Yep.
And this is the OXO cap. If I press it, these lights come on.
Oh, there you go.
And these are the lasers that work
Wow.
to stabilize further hair loss 90% of the time, stopping thinning, stopping shedding,
Can you stop some of this?
and regrowing hair 60% of the time.
Oh, the regrow here
Regrow
too.
60%
Really?
of the time.
'Cause
Now,
I'm
it's
getting a
not-
little thin over here.
It's not a hair transplant. It's different.
Oh, it's not?
Surgical. It's not
Right.
surgical. And so that's something now that I'm no longer with Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. I trained Dr. Matthew Lopresti, who's the chief surgeon and
Right.
owner of Leonard Hair Transplant. So he's doing his thing with surgery, and I'm doing non-surgical stuff now.
Oh.
And it's really been great because there are no side effects with the use of laser therapy.
Right.
This particular device is called AUXO, OXO. It has
And that's
it's a soft. It's
Oh,
very
it's soft on the
flexible,
side,
yeah.
but it looked like a hard
Yeah, no,
hat.
it's very flexible, so it can fit multiple size heads. And
Now, what do you sell these things? Or
I
you
sell these
rent them, or what do you
through
do?
Hair Health Institute. That's the name of my practice.
Right.
And the type of laser is different than any other on the market. It provides a thicker beam and a wider beam to provide better coverage. Goes way down on the head for people who have had surgery, to help healing with the surgery as well. But for the average person, wherever I go, I see people with thinning hair. And I do restrain myself because
I was just going to say, you must look at everybody.
I
You
can
must look
help
at
them.
everybody.
I know I can help them, but I don't, it's there's a level, there's just so much you can do.
Now, these come in different sizes.
No, this is one size.
one
so
size?
believe it or not, it's very flexible and stretchable.
Oh, it is that,
and
yeah.
it stays on for just 10 minutes.
That was my
so
next
it's 10
question.
minutes a day.
That's it.
But everything takes 4 months to start to work. Nothing happens with hair
Right,
immediately.
right.
4 months. So people are calling me at day 6. They say, "Oh, it's not working, doc." I said, "Well, what did I tell you?"
A little short, day 6.
Yeah, but 4 months to start to see less hair in the drain, less on your clothes
Right.
and the brush, and a year to year and a half to see regrowth. Now
Right.
it happens a lot sooner than that, but I tell people that so that I'm not being called too prematurely.
Right.
But it's an excellent treatment, and I have a hair care line called Copper Chemist. It's all natural-based ingredients
Right.
because I learned over the years that some of the chemicals that are common in shampoos and conditioners and stuff can cause some skin problems.
Right,
So
right.
It's called Copper Chemist. You can go to hairhealth.org,
Right.
and you can come by the office in Warwick too.
There you go. Where is it? Where is the office in Warwick? You're
On
still with
Centerville
the-
Road. Centerville
Centerville Road.
Yeah.
You're at the new place you had opened up. Well, it's not new anymore.
It's not so new, but
It's
yeah,
not so
yeah,
new.
that's where we are. So I welcome patients. If your hair loss is bothering you, give me a call. I'd be happy to help you out. And if I can help you, I will. If not, I can refer you.
Well, we know someone that's been a client of yours
I wonder who.
over the years. I don't know, somebody we know that survived the. And as you say, it doesn't happen overnight. But
No, it takes a
what
long
a
time.
difference after a few months. My God.
It does. It does.
It
so
changes.
it's really cool. I'm speaking at a meeting, as we talk about travel, I'm speaking at a meeting in Milan at the end of May.
Nice.
And Italy's another place. Where else can you go but Italy? I mean, it's such a beautiful country.
Listen, I've been on 6 continents. I've never been to Italy.
Really? Or Ireland?
Or Ireland. Twice.
Have you been to Iceland?
Yes.
So there's one eye, but the other 2 you haven't been.
Yeah. Twice I planned trips to there and they got messed up.
Well, Italy is so unique. It's not unique, but every region is very different from the other. So it's worthwhile to go. The north is very, very different from the south. You know, most of the Rhode Islanders, most of the Italians in Rhode Island, this northeast, come from the south.
Really?
Naples and down.
Now, my father came from the north.
Well, look at how light complected you are.
Yeah, well, that's like
Big
the
difference.
German connection, right? German,
yeah.
Swiss connection there. Is that what that is?
It is.
Because my father came from the northwest side of.
Northwest, okay.
Yeah,
so the Trieste around on northwest. That's Bormio, that area, north of Milan then.
Yeah.
North of Milan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was not a big. The area is Mezza Carrera is the mountainous area that is part
My
of.
father, for many, many, many years, went with a guys trip every winter to Bormio, which is also on the border of Switzerland, but on the Italian side.
Right.
He had a great time. Loved it up there.
Really?
Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do it. I got to get there someday. That's what I want to put together. I want to go on a cruise and.
You could do a trip through your
go there a few
audience.
days earlier and go up to the.
Oh, not an audience trip.
An audience trip?
Yeah, you rent out the ship and have all of your audience.
Oh, there
join
you go. That would be a great thing.
Yeah.
Huh? All I got to do is hit the lottery.
Have them pay for it. That's how it works out.
Really?
You get so many seats and you get a free trip.
Yeah, I could do that.
Not a bad idea.
No.
Okay.
Except I'd have to put it together and
well, that's a headache.
That's a headache.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That's true. Well, go on your own.
Yeah.
Be safer.
Well, listen, great to have you back.
Thank you for having me. It's
for
been
a little
a long
bit.
time.
It's been a while.
It.
Love talking. Yeah, love to
Me
hear
too.
some of your trips. You got a lot of other trips we got to get to. We haven't talked about. We'll have to save that for another time.
Next time.
Next time we'll talk about it.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Nice to see you again.
Great to see
Really
you.
nice. Thanks.
And it's nice that you give blood.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
No?
No, I hate needles.
Oh, it's a big needle too.
I know it's a
But
big
it's just
deal.
for a second. Just
Oh,
like a little
God.
bit. Okay.
No, I don't like needles. I had one break in my arm when I was a kid.
Do you ever watch that show, Doc Martin?
No.
Doc, it's a British show. Here's a doctor who's a surgeon.
Right, I've seen the commercial
And
for it.
he became hemophobic. So when he sees blood, he gets sick. So he had to leave surgery and he becomes a GP in England, tiny little village in England.
Right.
And he doesn't have a personality. He's like, maybe on the spectrum perhaps, but it's a great show. I think it's just finishing its 10th or 11th season. This is the end of the show. But it's hard to get to. It's on PBS every once in a while.
I've seen it.
But they don't run them sequentially.
Consistently,
You get season 5 and season 2 and a lot of repeats. But it's a good thing if you can get to see that show. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well,
Thank you very much.
thanks for having me.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on An Hour with Bob. Folks, we're back on An Hour with Bob, and as promised, I told you this is a triple Bob day. Bob Venturini, you just had Bob Leonard, and now you got Mayor of East Providence, Bob or Robert DaSilva. Hi, Bob. How you doing? How you doing?
Nice to see you, Bob. How's it going?
Good, good. In fact, when Dr. Leonard was here, I don't know if he said it first, but one of us said, no, I must have said it because he didn't know who the other guest was. I said, yeah, this is a 3 Bob day.
3 Bob Day.
A 3
Listen,
Bob day.
An hour with 3 Bobs. You can't go wrong.
Exactly. And that's not even a popular name anymore right now, I don't think.
It's not.
You don't see a lot of new little kids called Bob
No,
anymore,
you
right?
don't. You don't. You're right.
That's somebody that's born in from the 50s to the 80s. A lot of Bobs.
I was born in the 19th, 20th century, but in 1969. Think about that.
1969.
1960. It seems like so
Wow.
long ago, doesn't it?
69. I graduated from high school before that.
Did you? Well, you look great. You look great.
Yeah, I graduated from high school in 67. I was in my 3rd year of college in 69.
Wow.
Yeah.
The years go by.
Oh, isn't it the truth?
Time waits for no one.
Yeah. Now, you started, well, we talk about this all the time. You started as a police officer.
Yeah.
In Pawtucket.
I did. Yeah.
And
1993.
was it
Yeah,
93?
I was a young 24-year-old.
Wow.
And it's amazing when you think about how much things have changed. Back in the day when I applied, in 1993, I think we had close to 1,000 applicants for very few positions.
Right.
Now we run through a police hiring process. The East Providence Police Department just recently went through a process. We're lucky if we had 40 some odd applicants, and then after the agility, after the written test, you end up with, under 5 people to consider. So things have changed. I mean, the attitude towards law enforcement has changed. It used to be a very coveted job. Now there's less and less people who want to do it, and we're trying to change those people's attitudes and minds towards that, because it's a wonderful profession. It's a way to help your community, and we hope that we get more people considering that long term as a career and a profession.
But it's not only the police officers that having trouble hiring. Anybody's having trouble hiring nowadays.
It is.
This generation, for obvious reasons, I think, they don't want to work. A lot of these people, these younger kids.
Our HR director, Rob Perry, used to be a principal at Riverside Middle School. He's now our HR director. He's doing a great job. But I think he realized quickly how busy that department is, because you're constantly putting out jobs and hiring and trying to bring people on board.
Sure.
We'd love to have everybody fully staffed, but it's a constant challenge to get people for these city jobs, especially when you're competing with private sector that sometimes can pay a lot more than what we can pay.
Right. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, just while we're talking jobs, and this will be out there, we're going to be looking for a finance director. We're informed by our finance director that he's looking to retire. So any people in municipal finance who are interested, please consider applying for East Providence. And we're also going to be looking for an IT director. Our IT director is also retiring. So if anybody out there in the IT field, we're going to be putting that job. We haven't put it out yet. That job will be going out, and we're hoping to get some good candidates.
And who would they contact, or where would they contact?
They can reach out directly to my office. Those are department head level positions, so
Right.
they're appointed by me. If they want to reach out to my office at mayor's office at eastprovince.ri.gov, they can email us. But we will be posting the jobs. The finance director job is posted currently on eastprovince.ri.gov, and we will be posting the IT director job shortly.
And when do you hope to fill it? When are these people retiring?
Well, one of the positions will be immediate, which was the IT position. But the finance director position, we will try to onboard somebody as soon as possible. The finance director who's there now, Malcolm Moore, has done an incredible job for the city over the years, and he's offered to stick around and help onboard the new person.
Right.
So
that's important.
I mean, if I could hire someone tomorrow, I would.
Yep.
We just, we're waiting for the application process so people can put their applications in, and then we'll consider everybody who applies. It's not easy, Bob.
No, I know. Go from a policeman to and then you were a state rep too after that, right?
I was. You know what's interesting? So I belong to the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns, where we have a meeting once a month, sometimes more than that. Come together, all the municipal leaders, to talk about issues that are important to the state and to the municipalities. And you'd be surprised how many town managers and mayors have former law enforcement background.
I know.
Former police officers, former, whatever rank they were. Some were chiefs, some were captains. But, it's
like the former head of the state police.
Yeah.
Jim.
Colonel Manning. You've got quite a few who are involved in that. And when we come together for these meetings, you look around the room and like, wow, there's a lot.
I know him from before.
Yeah, there's a lot of law enforcement experience. Which I think, because you know what it is, as a police officer, you're constantly.
Well, you get to see everything.
Yeah, you see everything, and you have to make decisions based on the facts that are presented to you.
Right.
And you evaluate it, and then you make. It's sort of like, and we're also very much tuned into risk management. Police officers, especially as you go up the ranks, you're always thinking about risk management.
Right.
And how do you keep, from getting your city in trouble by not doing things the appropriate way. So when you become a mayor, that's the main thing that I'm doing, is risk management.
Right.
Every day that I'm out there, we're thinking about, hey, how do we grow the city, but also how do we keep the city on the right side, out of trouble, on the right side of doing things. So it's all about risk management.
Legal trouble and lawsuits and all that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of, we talked about it off camera. I saw you on I don't know, a clip or something. You with your kid, your wife, and your kid.
Yes.
What was that? It was a birthday party, right?
It was. So, my family, we have 3 birthdays back to back. My wife is at the end of February. Then my son is on March 9th and on March 11th. And we have this tradition from when the kids were very little. We used to, get those Pillsbury Doughboy cinnamon buns, right? we'd open them up first thing in the morning before the kids were up, and we'd put a little candle on it, and that'd be their first part of their birthday day, was to start out the day with a cinnamon bun
Wow.
cake. So that tradition still holds true. Here I am, I just turned 55, and my wife, she always never forgets the kids, of course, right? But in this one case, she was like, hey, she calls me downstairs, hey, come downstairs, we got something for you. We get down there, and the little cinnamon bun thing's going on for me. And it was my son that reminded my wife. He said, hey, Mom, don't forget, we got to do the cinnamon.
Now, did you forget it?
I completely forgot about it myself, but we built that tradition with the kids.
And the kids remembered
And the
it.
kids remembered it, which is nice. I mean, look, you like to build these little traditions, these little things that the kids are going to look back on fondly, hopefully, when I'm long gone and they have their own children, they'll carry on that little fun tradition,
I thought that was kind of nice. I thought it was kind of neat, a nice family thing.
But you know what happens, Bob? I have 3 birthdays together, and with all the birthday cake and all of the cinnamon buns, I just start packing on the weight.
Packing on the weight.
Oh, I got to get on a diet quick.
Well, but the good thing is you get them all done at the same time.
That's true. That's true.
You get them knocked out.
Yes, that's true.
Now, what's going on in East Providence with this bridge? It's got to be killing you.
Well, I mean,
it's got to have a tremendous effect on the businesses in East Providence.
It's having a negative impact on our businesses, and partly because of the perception out there that you can't come into East Providence.
Right.
Which
is wrong, by the way, because I travel over here a lot, and what they fail to when they say, oh, it took me 25 minutes, but guess what? If there was no problem with the bridge, it still would have taken you 12 minutes.
Right. So what we found is you can move through the city very freely most of the day.
Yep.
You run into issues during rush hour in the morning and rush hour in the evening, and if there's an accident or something that happens on the highway. But I want the residents of Rhode Island to understand that our small businesses who you've always supported need you now more than ever.
Exactly.
And an extra time on the highway shouldn't keep you from supporting your local small businesses because they depend on you. The other thing. During those times that we're not talking about, outside of the rush hour times, you can get in and out of the city relatively smoothly.
Right.
In and out. And I've been meeting with a lot of businesses. We've been going from door to door. We've been meeting with people in our office, and they feel the impact because what's happening is a lot of people think it's worse than what it is, and they're avoiding our city.
Right.
We don't want that. There is a delay. There's no denying that. We're not taking that away from people. There is a delay. However, people need to understand that this is a set of circumstances that needs to be
beyond your fault.
Yeah.
It's beyond your you had nothing to do with it.
No, but it needs to be.
Had nothing to do with
it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with. Our city small businesses are feeling the negative impacts. So we just encourage residents to support and to continue supporting your local small businesses, whether it's an auto mechanic shop. We had a couple of auto mechanic shops that I met with, Vargas Auto and Lears. They're feeling an impact too because a lot of their customers come from on the other side of the bridge, and they're concerned. But the reality is, you come over the bridge away from the rush hour peak times, and you get in and out no problem. So come down, get your car serviced. Come visit one of our local restaurants. They depend on you, and we just want to send that message. The reality is, when I talk to different businesses, you get different responses from different businesses. Some businesses tell me they're down, 5-6% in revenue. Others are telling me, we see our lunch hours are down significantly. Others say, our early evening hours are, numbers are down. So it all varies, and it makes no rhyme. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Yeah.
Some days, like for instance, I was talking to a business the other day. On some Mondays they're super busy, and the following week that Monday they're not busy. So there's no real consistency, and I think it's important to send a message out to everyone that East Providence is open for business, and that people should continue to come into the city.
Exactly. And if you don't want to go over the bridge on the way back, you can go another way.
And it's like I said, it's not.
You go over the Henderson Bridge.
You can go over the Henderson Bridge, and it really isn't
as bad as the media has
because you're putting it out there every day on the media, right? In the media, and then the governor launched a couple of tools on the website, on the state website, that you can kind of take a look and see the metrics of how long it's taken to get through.
Oh, they busted him up about that too.
But there's a delay.
The radio stations really.
I know, and unfortunately, bringing attention to this all the time it creates more of a negative impact on
Absolutely.
people. I'm not taking away the fact that there are times when the delay is longer than other times.
Sure.
There's no doubt. If there's an accident on the highway, if there's bad weather. The good news is, I mean, I drove by the highway today and I saw that the DOT has their contractors out there working
Doing
on
the lanes, you're gonna
yes.
make 3 lanes?
They're looking to make 3 lanes going west, 3 lanes coming east.
Right.
You know, I think that's going to have a huge positive impact on the flow. And once the governor and the DOT director have all the information from the contractors and the engineers, you know, once they're ready to announce what the next steps are, I think that'll bring a little peace of mind to people. You know, once people know,
Right.
you know, once that information is ready to be released, and you have to wait on the engineers, but once that information is ready to be released and you let people know, hey, this is what we have, this is what we're looking at, this is the timeline, it kind of brings a little more peace of mind and you know exactly what's going to be happening.
Plus, a lot of the negativity on the news media will go away too.
You would
when
think.
they see the flow is better.
Yeah,
The
I
traffic
think
flow
so.
is better.
I think so. I really hope, you know, and speaking to Director Alviti and the governor, they've had these type of 3 lanes, narrow lanes in other parts of the state, and it's worked very well
Yep.
with a reduced speed limit. So, you know, things, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So we'll see
Are they
what
going to put 1 lane for trucks, right?
They're going to have, so in each direction, there'll be 1 lane that'll be 11 feet wide dedicated for trucks. Like,
Right.
trucks and cars can go through it, but trucks can only use that lane. The other 2 lanes will be for automobiles only.
Because it'll be narrower than the other one.
It'll be
'Cause
10
trucks,
foot, 10
trucks
foot
need
wide.
the 11 foot.
Right. So I saw them out there working. I'm eager to see how it's going to look. You know, I'm not an engineer, I can't really figure it out, but I think it's going to be, it'll be beneficial. If you can get more traffic through, it'll be beneficial.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I had the governor on
Yep.
last week, and we talked about the same thing, the bridge and whatever. And he had met with, and he's become friendly with the president. The president knows him.
Yes.
You know, in fact, they did a thing. The wives had actually met together because his wife is the president's wife is a teacher, and the governor's wife's a teacher, and they have that commonality there. And he asked them as they were leaving this meeting with governor, 41 governors, I guess, as they were leaving. He stopped the governor and he said, "If you ever need anything, you let me know." He said, "Yeah, I do need something." He said, "What?" He said, "I need a bridge." and I think that's why Pete Buttigieg is coming here.
Pete Buttigieg is coming to visit, which I'm very excited about. You know, the Federal Highway Administration has come down to meet with the governor. I've been in constant contact with our congressional delegation to see, what they can do to help, and they've been very supportive of anything that we've asked for. And quite honestly, DOT and Director Alviti, they've been very responsive to whatever needs we have as a community. So, I understand that they can't just snap their fingers and miraculously fix this bridge.
Right.
The bridge needs to be repaired, it needs to be looked at, and whatever needs to happen, needs to happen. If it's a full replacement, then it's going to be a full replacement. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do
Half piecemeal.
you don't want to do half measures.
You want to do it once.
Right, let's do it right, and whatever that may be. But I got to say, DOT, we ask them for support on different things relating to this closure, and they're always there for us. So I can't be too critical because, to me, they've been very responsive. And I also understand that these type of situations occur, and sometimes these things are happening without you knowing that it's happening. And
Right.
when you stop fixing something, think about this. Think about anybody out there who's ever done a home improvement project, right?
There you go.
You're going to do like a little kitchen, or maybe a little
Yep.
addition, whatever you're going to do. And as you start opening up the walls, then you find these issues and problems that you didn't know existed.
Right.
And
you didn't count on, you didn't budget for.
exactly. And this is exactly this is how I view this. I'm not
On a bigger scale.
right
Much bigger
on
scale.
a much bigger scale. They were doing work. The work they were doing on the bridge was to make the bridge wider. They were going to add another lane.
Right.
They're doing work on it, and they discovered this situation. They're trying to deal with it. So that's all.
Well, hopefully it gets cleared up, and as the weather gets better, it'll be easier anyway with the weather better, right?
Yeah.
You won't have snow to worry about on the bridge, or weather to deal with. There's much weather,
Yeah, no, and like I said, I think we're starting to see, when you go out and around, when I go to restaurants in East Providence, they always seem to be well packed, after hours.
Right.
I go in there and there's people out enjoying themselves. So, we understand that a lot of our businesses have been negatively impacted, and I just wanted to share with the community that we're having a small business resource fair where we're bringing together all the different parties in the state who have resources available for small businesses, so that they can learn about the resources available to them, and so that we can hear directly from the business owners about how they're faring and how they're dealing with this whole situation.
Right.
So
when is this going to happen?
that's going to be on the 21st at 6 p.m. At the Riviera Restaurant here in East Providence. And, we'll put all that information on our website, eastprovinceri.gov, in case you missed the meeting. But there are a lot of resources out there that people are not aware of. Rhode Island Commerce and others, the Small Business Administration, the East Providence Area Chamber, Blackstone Valley Tourism Council, the Rhode Island Small Business Hub. There's so many different agencies out there looking to help small businesses. And when I talk to business owners sometimes,
they don't know it.
They don't know about it. There's a grant right now to help, through Rhode Island Commerce, to help businesses who want to make improvements to their HVAC system. And, it's a $10,000 grant.
Really?
They don't know about it, yeah. There's another grant where if you are a small business and you need support.
And that's a grant. You don't pay that back.
You don't pay that back, right? So there's another program that goes through Skills for RI, through Rhode Island Small Business Hub, where if you're a small business and you need some support services, like you need a payroll system, or you need you need work on a website, or you need someone to help you launch some type of aspect of your business, accounting system, or whatever it may be.
Right.
They will give you up to $10,000 worth of services. So they're not giving you money, but you sign up with them, and they'll say, all right, you need your business, your business needs a payroll accounting system. We'll help you set that up.
Right.
Up to a max of $10,000 services, right? So if the service only costs $2,000, you can use the $8,000 to launch your website. So there's a lot of great things out there, and I think a lot of people don't know it exists. So we're bringing all these resources together so that we can share it with our business community, so that they know what they are eligible for.
Because I had heard from somebody in East Providence saying that, yeah, everything they got, but you got to pay it back. But that's not the case.
Well, I mean,
the loans, obviously,
the loans,
the SBA loans.
SBA loans, and what I've heard from talking to some people in the SBA loans are the mechanism that's used nationwide, even for like big natural disasters. When you have a tornado, a hurricane, and businesses are impacted. The SBA loan process is the process that's used to deal with these type of disaster declarations. A lot of people became accustomed to free-flowing funds during the pandemic.
Exactly.
COVID-19 came, and never in our history did we see the kind of free money, and we say it's free money, but it's not free. Someone's paying for it, the taxpayers,
we're paying for it now.
Yeah, so, never in our history did we see the billions of dollars in appropriations that went out to deal with the worldwide pandemic.
Right.
This was a worldwide event, and this money was just being granted out to people. Whether it was assistance with rental payments, whether it was assistance with PPE, whether it was straight up grants to do whatever it is, right?
Right.
Businesses and people became accustomed thinking that this was the normal course of action. The reality is, the grant, if we can find grant funding, I keep talking to all the different resources. If we can find grant funding for our small businesses, I'm the first one out there trying to get that for us. But it's not the common practice. When you think about it, when you look at it, it's not a common thing that happens.
Well, but like you said, the pandemic changed everything.
It did.
Changed people's attitudes, and that's getting back to what you said about finding police officers and other workers. I think that has greatly affected the attitude towards working, period, especially these young people, because they had the freebie. They get the freebie, and all of a sudden they're not getting it anymore.
I think you may be right. And the other thing that happened is a lot of older folks were working. A lot of older people were in the workforce. They were helping by working. They didn't need to work necessarily, but they were staying busy. But I think a lot of people, after they started seeing, friends and relatives succumb to COVID-19, they realized, hey, why am I still working? Let me go enjoy life.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things you see happen a lot, is a lot of the older people who are retiree age, who are still working part-time in certain in service industries, they're no longer there. I'll tell you what, before I came here today, I stopped over at a local restaurant. I was going to grab a quick bite before I met here with you.
Right.
And the people told me, we only have 3 servers today. It's going to be a 15-minute wait. I was like, well, I don't have 15 minutes. I got to go see Bob Venturini, so I got to get going. But that's happening still. People are having a hard time finding workers because a lot of people are not continuing to work into their retirement age anymore.
Right.
So, and a lot of people they look at work differently.
I was once a month I go for fish and chips. Cut back on it because of health things and all that. But I survived this long eating fish and chips on a weekly basis.
Yes.
Anyway, and I like to try new places. Well, there's this place I found. I was in Supply New England in their shop one day last week. A couple weeks ago, and somehow I'm talking to a couple guys at the counter, and the guy in the back, the manager yells out, "You got to try this place in Coventry." I never heard of it, so I went down and tried it. It was phenomenal. But I walked in, before I even walked in the door, there's a sign on the door, "Takeout only." I walk in, and I used to be in the restaurant business, as you know. There was probably eight booths there.
Yeah.
And they had like a half a wall, and you would walk down and you order, and normally you'd order and go sit down, and they'd come and bring you the food. Well, so I said to them, "How come it's only takeout only?" "Well, can't get any help."
Oh, you can't. We are right now at record low unemployment nationwide, and even Rhode Island. I mean, when you look at the actual the numbers, you'd say, "Wow, we should be really we should be doing things." Things are actually looking pretty good. I mean, we're record low unemployment.
Right.
You see manufacturing and jobs opening up. I mean, I could tell you in East Providence, where we see businesses, even in the midst of the pandemic, they were opening up. New businesses opening up. And even in the midst of this whole thing with the Washington Bridge, we got new businesses opening up here in the city. So it's tough. It's tough for a small business when you don't have the workforce. Where are they all? Where are they all? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where all the workers are. So.
Well, it's scary. In fact, they're going the other way with business. Chick-fil-A announced, it was on TV this morning, where they built a new store that they're going to, what do they call it, a trial store, where they're not having any workers out front at all.
Really?
Yeah. No tables, no chairs. It's to go only.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of self-checkout. I'm not a big fan of
I don't use a
self-service.
self-checkout. When I go to the supermarket, I always go to a register. Even if I have to wait, I'll wait at a register because I know what's going to happen. Eventually, it's all going to be self. Except somebody told me just the opposite is occurring at Home Depot and Shaw's, because people go to the self-checkout and they get 5 items, and the cheap items they scan through, and the more expensive item they make off, they scan through, and they walk out the door with a $300 saw or something. And one guy was telling me that somebody was in one of those places, and a roofer, and these 5-gallon buckets of whatever it is for the roof is, $100, $150 a piece, and they had like 12 of them, and they put new stickers on them, scan barcodes on them from for $18 or something. They scanned them through at $18 a piece instead of 180.
I imagine it must be difficult to keep track of people stealing, when you have self-checkout. But I think the biggest problem with self-checkout is you're taking away. I know we have a shortage now of workers, but you're taking away opportunities for people. There are people at all levels of the workforce that need opportunities.
Yep.
But right now, maybe that's with the worker shortage, that might be a solution. But then there's repercussions that they weren't expecting.
The cycle's going right around. It's got to come back, and they're going to need these people.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, with all the automation has always made things easier in our lives, but there's been a cost to that.
Exactly.
You think about manufacturing, right? Yep. When we started going to automation and robotics, we keep filtering people out. But it looks like the way things are looking, we're having trouble filling those positions anyway. So maybe automation is going to help in some capacities. So.
Well, we're done. We got to wrap up. Bob, my God.
Wrapping up already?
It's a 3-Bob day. It's a 3-Bob day, and it went fast.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
It's always good to have you here. You're welcome here anytime.